Welcome to the Soup Kitchen. All right, what's up, guys? I know this is something that you all have been waiting for. I've gotten a lot of questions on this topic, and today we're going to talk about situationships. So before I get into that, I do want to welcome you all to my channel. If you have never been to this channel before, please subscribe if you find this content to be helpful. And if you know of someone that would find this content to be helpful, please share, like, and put your comments below if you see any or know of any topics that you would like for me to talk about. Yep, so I'm going to get right into it. The first thing I thought of was inconsistency. And if you exit a situation and it's meant for you, it will be for you. A lot of times we walk around on eggshells trying to please that man or trying to please just trying to be in good graces all the time. And, I know for a fact that this works vice versa for guys too. And, talking to people, it seems as if it happens more to women than men. And I think that's ultimately because women are quicker to place that man in a husband role. Like, anytime that you're in something and there's a ton of confusion, there's a reason why. Because that person wants you to be confused because they don't have a decision. They don't have at least a decision that they're willing to share with you. Keep me close until I'm ready to meet the one, or hold me over until I am not ready to settle down with you, but until I'm ready to commit to the woman that will require me to do the things that you are not requiring me to do, which are things that a man should do. So now I'm talking as if I'm the man. So now I'm looking at you as a woman and I'm seeing you do all of the things that I did not earn. And why would I invest, or why would I commit to something that I don't have to? I'm getting all of the benefits. I don't have to call you. I don't have to give you a time when I'm a call. I don't have to commit to anything. And when I call, you're Johnny on the spot. Or when I call, things on my list are getting checked off, but yours aren't. You know when you're in this. Listen, y'all know when I speak, it's coming from the heart. And when I speak, these things that I'm speaking on aren't things that I think. These things that I'm speaking on aren't things that I read. These things that I'm speaking on are things that I have either went through or am going through. And so when I speak on this topic, ladies, come on now. There's been so many times in my life where I'm like, this guy doesn't like me. I mean, well, maybe, and and then you go down the list. If you have to talk yourself into saying something, you need to exit. Okay, guys, so one of the analogies I would like to give is the bus analogy. You hop on the bus and you pay your fare and you walk to the back of the bus, you sit down, you take a seat, you get comfortable, you close your eyes and you wake up and you're like, oh my goodness, I missed my stop. Like, my stop was like, 4 stops back. So you run up to the driver and you're like, hey, yo, like, I missed my stop like 4 stops ago. And the bus driver's like, well, where were you going? And you're like, oh, I was going to this street and that street. And the bus driver's like, hey, that's not even on this route. Like, I mean, I do pass it, but I don't stop there. Like, that's the other bus. Like, you should have got on the other bus. And you're like, well, why didn't you tell me? And the bus driver's like, well, you never asked. And you're like, oh, shoot. So you're like, man, you're feeling irritable, pissed off, frustrated at the fact that you wasted your time, got on the wrong bus, But guess whose fault it is? It's yours, because you did not ask questions and you got on assuming that it was going to your desired destination. Ladies and gentlemen, this is for my ladies mostly, but gentlemen, you can take this and use this too. If you get on someone else's bus and you don't ask questions, and time goes on and you get comfortable and you fall asleep, and while the bus is riding, you bump your head and you wake up and you're like, hey, where's this going? At that point, baby, it's too late. It's hard. The bus is already going and it's en route. So you have that decision to either A, get off that bus, or B, continue to ride a bus that's never going to get you to the desired destination. If you don't have a future planned out with that person, then you might as well assume that there is no future. It's kind of like the I'll hit you back, I'll let you know, I'll keep you posted, all of those things to me are flags. Like I always tell men, listen, don't keep me posted. The only thing that stays posted is a you know what on the corner. I'm not that. If you want to keep me posted, yo, I'll keep you posted. When you allow yourself to be taken advantage of, you go right into this passive aggressive mode. Like, I can't believe that he's doing this to me. I can't believe that she's doing this to me. Because like I said again, this does happen to men too. But I know for a fact that it does happen. I've actually heard of some women say like, girl, I'm just going to keep him around until I talk to so-and-so. And I'm just like, that's not right. Like, you wouldn't want somebody to do that to you. I always speak on that kind of stuff. Like, if you don't want it done to you, then don't do it to someone else. Okay, if that's the case, let that person handle what they have to handle. And when they are ready to deal with you, if they are ready to commit to you, if they feel like there's a possibility that they could lose you, you better believe if they know your worth, they're coming for you, period. They are going to come for you, period. And there's no questions about it. And can nobody argue me about this? Because it's facts. Like, it is facts. Anytime that a person knows the worth of something, why would they be willing to let it go? For good. There are those situations where, maybe it's poor timing and maybe it's a lack of recognition. But I suggest keep your life moving, because that's just like getting a call from a job and they're saying like, you know what? You are great at this job and we really enjoy the service that you bring to this job. We enjoy the morale that you bring. We enjoy all these things. I want you to come in and do the job and we'll pay you for the day. And you're like, okay, great. You do the job. And then you do the job and then you're like, okay, so what is this? Like, am I hired? Am I not hired? What is this thing? And no, there's no certainty. There's no commitment. There's no guarantee that you're going to get paid, because they did not sit down with you and say, hey, you're hired. Here is your 401k. Here's your 403b. Here is your savings plan. Here is your insurance. This is how you do this. This is where you park. This is like when a job wants you, they come in for you. Been there, done that. It's one of the worst places to be in, because you feel like you're putting your life on hold. And in all actuality, you are. You are. Like, I'm just going to put it plain and simple, that you're putting your life on hold. If you are not asking questions and being direct in the beginning, you know what's the worst? When you don't know something about a situation that you already have mapped out in your head. That's the worst. You meet someone and you're like, oh, this guy is perfect. And I could see myself being with this person. And oh my goodness, all of a sudden you start doing things. You start giving them things to show them that you're worthy. And you have to know first that you're worthy before you go out trying to prove to someone else that you're worthy. Because you shouldn't have to prove. What's known doesn't have to be said. What's felt doesn't have to be done. You don't have to, like, if that person can feel your value, you don't have to run around and try and like be that person for that man or woman. Um, love is love. And if it's meant to happen, it will. And don't feel like just because you met someone and they fit that category that this is my soulmate. And if I let this pass by, then I'm letting my soulmate pass by and I'm going to miss out on love. No, because I personally don't believe that there's just one soulmate out there for you. I believe that there's soulmates, people that fit the mold for you, but maybe don't fit the timing. Maybe the timing is off. Maybe the maturity is off. Maybe the financial stability is off. Maybe they aren't actually the one. So pretty much I define situationship as when there is a great deal of unknowns in a relationship and one or both people are left feeling like they got the shorter end of the stick. The beautiful thing is there's always someone else out there, guys. Listen, let me tell you. I'll be dating a guy and then I'll be like, oh, he's the one. And then that situation ends and I'm like, you idiot. If you had settled for that guy, you would have dealt with these things. Like you would have, dealt with these things and they're deal breakers. Do not allow yourself to use his positive to outweigh his negative to justify why you're staying. Well, girl, he's a great cook, and if I'm dating someone, I'll know if that person fits or if they could fit with me in a week. That's how much I know myself. That's how much I've been studying myself. That's how much I've been loving on myself. That's how much, like, it's a beautiful feeling. At one point in my life, I was willing to allow myself to force a square to force a square in a triangle shape hole. The beautiful thing about men, guys, is that the first couple of conversations where he is willing to go with that woman, where she's kind of still trying to figure it out, but willing to. That's the problem. We shouldn't be willing to unless we know. The willing portion should come after the knowing. Whereas men, I'm telling you, they get it right. Now, not all men get it right. I get it. I know. Yeah, all men don't get it right on the first, go around, or some men are they don't get it right. I like the practices that men place in relationships. They do not make a move unless they are ready. You have some cases where they will make a move and they're not ready, but not often. Like men will be like, I'm staying put until I know what to do. Whereas women will be walking, don't know where we're going, but we're just walking, being led by the blind, just walking. Like, did you not see that you about to walk into a tree? If you don't look up, pay attention, think about the things that you have sacrificed while you're walking with your eyes closed, thinking you're just following somebody that don't even know where they're going. That's crazy. Or at least you don't know where they're going. And that's the problem, is that you don't know. Now, if and men, listen, for the men who are watching this, I'm going to challenge you something. I want to challenge you to be as honest as you can with women. And I guarantee you, there's going to be women that will continue to be around you and still be your friend and still whatever. Maybe there's some friends with benefits and something going on in that situation. But I guarantee you, all women will not walk. And so if you're thinking like, oh, I can't tell her how I really feel, like I don't want to hurt her feelings, and that's one issue, I'm not gonna lie, that I struggle with. I do not like when men are aware of what it is they want to do and they mislead you, especially when you come to them and you're like, hey, I have a question. what does this mean? Like, I'm looking at this picture and I'm adding up all of the numbers, and none of this stuff is making sense. None of this is looking like it's going to work in my favor. And then the man says something like, it's totally up to you. Like, or I'm not ready. And it's like, yeah. This is what we need to do, ladies. Great. Glad you're not ready. I'm not ready either. Okay. So while you're making up your mind, deuces. Don't be nasty. Don't be mean. Because a lot of times, well, most of the time, I would say most of the time, we have our answers. We just don't want to take the answer for what it is. We don't. There are a few things I definitely want you to take from this video. And one of the things I want you to take from this video is to know yourself enough that you can make a decision based on 3 dates if that person would fit you in the long run. And write down the things that you feel like are deal breakers, and do not waver when it comes to those deal breakers. Write down those things and stick to them. Number 2, you must be okay with being by yourself. You got to be okay with being by yourself. It's okay, ladies. You can be alone. I know it's difficult, but it's a healing process that goes into it, where you must be alone in order to receive that self-love that you need. Because obviously, to be in a situation where you're being misled and you're asking questions about being misled, but you're still allowing yourself to be misled, there's a lack of self-love there. Because I know people who love on themselves to the point where if it doesn't look right from day one, they're like, nope, no second date. Number 3 is setting boundaries and being able to comfortably communicate your expectations without hesitation. Number 4, gain knowledgeable insight. So, okay. What I want you to do is pull from your resources of people to gain knowledgeable insight on your situation that you're in, or on that person that you're dating, to if you're having a hard time to decipher whether or not that person is the one for you. I would even say maybe a therapist, a life coach, a relationship coach, a loved one who you trust their outlook on life, and you think that they have like a very neutral / knowledgeable insight. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me here in the Soup Kitchen. I really enjoyed my time here with you today. If you enjoyed the content that was shared today, please like, subscribe, and if you know of someone who would benefit from the content that I shared today, please share my video, guys. All right, thank you so much. Until next time.
I'm calling, maybe I'm selfish. I want you to myself, I can't help